The beginning of the 20th century. Sea travel is sold as a symbol of unstoppable progress, unsinkable ships, industrial greatness, imperial confidence. But what is the reality? Lifeboat regulations are outdated, radio operators are overloaded with passengers' private messages. The watertight bulkheads do not rise high enough. The system is built more for image than for safety. And Violet Jessop finds herself exactly on the line where advertising collides with reality. In a world where steel sinks and wealth drowns in black water, one stewardess survives and is remembered as Miss Unsinkable. Violet Jessop was born in 1887 in Argentina into a family of Irish immigrants. Her childhood is marked by illness and uncertainty. As a child, she survives severe tuberculosis. Doctors do not expect her to live, but she does. Even then, her destiny begins to seem unusual. After her father's death, the family moves to England. Her mother starts working as a stewardess on ocean liners. When her mother becomes ill, Violet takes her place. She is only 21 when she joins White Star Line, one of the most prestigious shipping companies of the time. In the early 20th century, Britain and Germany compete for dominance in sea transport. Ships are not just a way to travel. They are floating statements of national pride. They are promises of progress. White Star Line builds three giants: Olympic, Titanic, and Britannic. They are meant to represent the peak of human engineering. Almost unsinkable. Almost. Her assignment to Olympic is not her first job, but it is her first great ship. Before that, Violet has already worked as a stewardess for other companies, including Royal Mail Line. There she learns quickly how to move through narrow spaces, how to be polite and almost invisible at the same time. When White Star Line hires her, it is a step upward. Olympic is the pride of the company, the largest liner in the world, a symbol of British superiority. September 1911. Olympic leaves Southampton on a regular route. Near the Isle of Wight, in the narrow Solent, the British warship HMS Hawke is sailing nearby. Both ships are large, but Olympic is much bigger. As they pass each other, the powerful water movement created by the liner pulls the smaller warship toward it. HMS Hawke crashes into Olympic's starboard side. Metal against metal. The impact tears part of the liner's hull and crushes the bow of the warship. Passengers feel a sudden shock. Glasses shake, some fall. There is no mass panic, but there is confusion. How can the largest ship in the world be struck in daylight, in calm waters? Violet is on board. She hears the noise and feels the deck tremble under her feet. Her work does not stop. She must explain. She must calm people. Fortunately, Olympic does not sink. The watertight compartments do their job. The ship returns to Southampton for repairs. It is the first public signal that even the most modern machines are not above the laws of nature. Violet survives. But she has already understood something important. Greatness does not remove vulnerability. A year later, she is assigned to Titanic, the largest and most luxurious ship in the world. April 10th, 1912, Southampton. Thousands gather to see the liner depart. The air is full of confidence. Newspapers call it unsinkable. Confidence sometimes creates complacency. The captain is Edward John Smith, a veteran with decades at sea. Everyone believes in the ship, in the steel, in the watertight compartments, in modern technology. Violet works in first class. She sees the differences. Wealthy families traveling with luggage and servants. Immigrants in third class dreaming of America. One ship connecting different worlds, different chances of survival. April 14th, 1912. The night is cold, quiet, and almost windless. The sea looks calm, as if nothing could disturb its surface. On board the largest passenger ship ever built, people dine, talk, and laugh. Electric lights shine in crystal glasses. The orchestra plays. Everything feels safe. At 11:40 p.m., there is an impact. It is light, almost unnoticed. No explosion, No dramatic shock, just a long scraping sound along the hull. Some passengers do not even realize anything has happened. This is the most dangerous moment, the moment when danger looks small. Icy water begins to enter. 6 watertight compartments are damaged. The design can survive 4. The ship's designer, Thomas Andrews, understands that Titanic will sink within hours. Evacuation begins. There are not enough lifeboats, not in number, not in how full they are. The regulations are outdated. The law requires lifeboats based on old rules from previous decades. Violet is ordered to help women and children into the boats. She calms them. She smiles. She holds their hands. She says it is only a precaution. At one moment, someone hands her a baby. Violet steps into lifeboat 16. In her later memoirs, Violet recalls that she held an unknown baby in her arms the entire time she was in the lifeboat, as the massive ship slowly tilted toward its end. She had no idea who the child belonged to. Shortly before the boat was lowered, one of the officers, James Paul Moody, told her to get in so that her presence would help calm the passengers. Having a crew member aboard signaled that the situation was under control. At that same moment, according to her account, the officer placed the baby in her arms without offering any explanation. As the boat is lowered, she looks up. The ship stands illuminated against the dark sky. The orchestra is still playing. Here, human psychology becomes clear. Some refuse to believe. Some fight. Some freeze. Group thinking works like a drug. If everyone is calm, there must be no danger. But water does not care about belief. At 2:20 a.m., the Titanic disappears beneath the surface. More than 1,500 people die. Violet survives. Later, a woman, probably the baby's mother, approaches her silently and takes the child from her arms. No dramatic scene, no words of thanks, only silence. Years after the disaster, Violet claimed she received a phone call from a woman who said, "I was that baby," and then hung up. 4 years later, Europe is in flames. The First World War changes everything. The Britannic, the third of the giant ships, is converted into a hospital ship. Violet volunteers as a nurse. November 21st, 1916. The Aegean Sea, near the Greek island of Kea. Britannic is no longer a luxury liner. It is a hospital ship of the British Red Cross. Its hull is painted white with green stripes and red crosses, clearly visible from a distance. According to the rules of war, it should be protected. Shortly after 8 a.m., a strong explosion shakes the starboard side. The ship has hit a mine laid days earlier by the German submarine U-73. The damage is lower and more concentrated than on Titanic. Water floods the forward compartments quickly. Some watertight doors do not close completely. Some lower deck windows are open for ventilation in the warm Aegean climate. This speeds up the flooding. Captain Charles Bartlett realizes the ship may sink. But unlike the open Atlantic, land is relatively close. He decides to try to reach shallow water near the island and run the ship aground before it sinks. The engines continue working. The propellers turn. Speed is their chance. Evacuation begins. Nurses, wounded soldiers, crew members. Some lifeboats are lowered too early before the engines are stopped. Then the worst happens. 2 boats are pulled into the still turning propellers. Wood breaks apart. People are dragged under the water. Violet is on deck in her role as a nurse. She sees the chaos. She hears the screams. She feels the ship's growing tilt. When it becomes clear that Britannic will not reach shore in time, she jumps into the sea. The water is not Arctic cold, but the shock is strong. The sea moves violently. The propellers are still turning. The current pulls her under the hull. For a moment, she loses direction. Sky and sea become one. Her body is dragged toward the keel. She hits her head against metal. Then, she feels herself rising. She takes a breath. She survives. Only years later do doctors discover that she suffered a skull fracture that day. Britannic sinks in just 55 minutes, much faster than Titanic. 30 people die, a tragedy but nothing like the disaster of 1912. Most are saved because land is near. Unfortunately, Violet is once again among the survivors. 3 disasters. The same person. Statistically absurd. Almost mythical. But it is not magic that keeps her alive. It is training, discipline, calm under pressure. When others freeze in fear, she follows procedure, and she thinks about how to save the others. Later, the media will call her Miss Unsinkable. But she never looks for fame. She travels the world. She lives a long life. She dies in 1971 at the age of 83. Yet she carries with her the memory of 3 ships, 3 catastrophes, and thousands of lives.